We are in uncharted territory. So many questions about this. The Trump gold card, and not the least of which is whether it's even legal. Apparently there's some challenges in the wings waiting for this. What is this $1 million card supposed to offer?
So thank you for having me on. I have been a business immigration lawyer since about 1983. I teach law. I've been teaching 32 years. This is unprecedented. U.S. immigration law already includes a path for investment called the EB-5 visa, and many people in China and around the world are making that investment, which requires you to also create jobs. This new project, which is called the Trump Gold Card, seems to be sponsored by the Department of Commerce, which is our trade unit, not the Department of Homeland Security or the U.S. Immigration Service. So just Wednesday, the form was launched. And so we got a little bit more of an understanding of how the president's administration is trying to squeeze this project into existing law.
Okay, so what is going to happen to people who spend $1 million and think this is going to be their way to get into the country? Quick,
Right.
easy, painless.
Well, first of all, it's a donation and it's unrefundable, and we don't know where the money's going. Apparently, the money is going to the Department of Commerce. Second, there is a $15,000 fee for the processing, and it's unclear at what stage you must make the $1 million contribution or donation. Can you pay the $15,000 for the expedited adjudication of your application and then only commit the $1 million later? We don't know. But here's the point. If you have these kinds of assets, if you are someone who has $1 million to donate to the federal government or more for a business that might want to sponsor a worker, there are so many better paths for you to pursue under existing US law. And many of us who are in the field as lawyers, we believe that the gold card may not be worth the plastic it's printed on because it doesn't have a statutory basis. Only Congress can create the paths to permanent residence in the United States.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is this even legal? And so what happens at, say, 5 people I know spend $1 million, they get into this country and it's challenged legally, sorry, this can't work. These people, it's going to be very difficult to get their money back, A, and now we're dealing with just chaos.
You know, it has the appearance of money creates influence and opportunity. And I don't want to say that that isn't true in US society. But again, if you are interested in immigrating to the United States through investment or through buying a company or through being an entrepreneur, please consult with an experienced immigration lawyer because there are good paths available to you. Because I'm speaking to the Chinese news network, I want to say in particular, this gold card does not bypass the country quotas. Congress has said every country is subject to a 7% cap, and therefore there is a waiting queue for people who are immigrating from China, whether they're a Nobel Prize winning scientist or a pop singer performer. And those waits can be very long. So I think people might be misled by the promise that this will expedite your immigration. When you look at the details that are available, and there's not many, you are being put into the queue with other employment-based visas. And China doesn't have any of those available right now. So this is a problematic. And then you said what would happen to people who went this path. Could they find that they really have no status in the United States? They could. I would hope our government would see them as victims of this overreach by the Department of Commerce or by the Department of Homeland Security. But we have many examples where the U.S. has made promises and then canceled them.
Yeah.
If you want to compare it, the president recently has been canceling temporary protected status, which was allowing people to remain in the country because of danger at home. Or other presidents have refused to adjudicate certain visa petitions that could exist. So sometimes the process and the delay becomes the reality. And so again, I just have to urge people, if you have money, if you have resources, if you have desire to live here, fantastic.
Yeah.
Please consult someone who's a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, has experience and recommendations, and can guide you so that you don't make a misstep.
Indeed. You know, this is a question I think I know the answer to, but I think other people may wonder. What happens if drug kingpins, warlords, or other criminals want to get in on this? I'm sure people are wondering that.
They may not be as blatant as a drug kingpin. It may be someone who's hiding currency from their home country or wants to immigrate to the United States, and the manner and mode in which they have earned their money would be something that we would consider nefarious or criminal. Everyone who immigrates to the United States is fingerprinted and goes through an extensive background check. And you do have to disclose in most procedures what the source of funds are, whether you're a business sponsoring a
Hmm.
worker or particularly in our investor program. So I don't see that you would have a statutory exemption to the grounds of inadmissibility that already exist for people who have convictions or have engaged in crime. Uh,
It's
Again,
it,
I understand the Department of Commerce and President Trump want to show the American people that they're bringing, quote, the right immigrants to the United States. We do have an amazing, generous immigration system,
sure.
but this is not the way to improve it or to expand
It
it.
definitely has two things Trump likes: his face and gold on the card at the same time.
Yes,
Lenny, this
yes.
this issue isn't going away. We'd love to have you back and talk about this on the next update. Thank you so much for your insight. Very helpful.
Thank you. I'll be monitoring it closely.
Okay.